Hello everybody, my name is Ezra11 Upgraded, and today I'm doing a commentary on 8363 MTR. He made a video on Common Jack commentating on an episode of Regular Show, episode 7, Meet Your Maker, and honestly, some of their points were very flawed. I think this video is going to end in a quickie because almost half of their points are valid, so thank you, Candy, for teaching me that I should skip. So, let's get started. Well, your intro actually isn't bad. There's only one point that I actually could say. It's that when you're talking about Common Jack in this video, you don't show a picture of his video or even show pictures of his avatar, and just show pictures, or videos in this case, of Mario fighting those Koopalings and showing more footage of Super Mario Kart and the retro games. Sure, it's not really a minor problem, it's really fucking minor, but
fair, man. Ain't fair.
With Benson preparing a barbecue.
Well, I have a little surprise. I was getting excited for the annual barbecue, so in addition to putting on this shirt, I splurged on some super extra premium grade A hot dogs.
What?
Super extra premium grade A hot dogs.
Who came up with that name?
Okay, what exactly is wrong with it? I mean, along with your poor acting and your somewhat monotone voice, you should have elaborated on exactly why the name is stupid to begin with, just to guarantee you can get that point home.
actually, there's two reasons for that. How and what the name was. Benson said it in a way that it was like super premium hot dogs, and he looks bland as hell with that beady eye face. But another problem is, he hated the name because, well, the name was too ridiculous. Also, you could add a point here. Now, this point doesn't have anything to do with the video itself, it's just that, why didn't you explain why he zoomed it out? Sure, you don't really talk about it, like, at all, but it's still a major issue with the video, and does come off as unnerving.
Mordecai. For the whole episode, he's a dick to Rigby for things that, by the way, he's also guilty of.
Yeah, prepare for that statement to blow up on his face in a few seconds. Well, literally, that is.
Don't
Oh boy!
believe me? Well, after Rigby burns the hot dogs, he throws the grill into the river.
I told you it blew up on his face!
Well, yeah, he threw the grill in the river because the hot dogs were on fire. If he didn't stop the fire as soon as possible, it could have very well spread off the grill onto, say, the grass, for example. If anything, Rigby is completely at fault for this, and Mordecai is forced to stop it before anything could happen.
Oh my god, do you even know what the fuck the top part of the grill is for? Also, if you're gonna be saying that it's for instincts, like you will stay later, it's probably like the worst idea to do it. First off, you could have just used a towel to, like, you know, blow out the fire. Blow out the fire! Literally put a towel on top of it so it can just, you know, stop burning. And if there's two possibilities for that, it will stop, or it will catch the thing on fire, which is kind of a loose end. I'm not going to be talking about the fire extinguisher because I'm going to be talking about that later, and trust me, they're going to screw it up even harder.
I guess that's why Benson told me not to grill.
What? I said I was sorry.
Come on, man.
No more come on mans. Vince is gonna totally blame me and it's all your fault.
Blow it out of your ass. You threw the grill. Not only that, but this happens like 15 times in this episode. And he also acts childish. I know it's supposed to be justified because, hey, Rigby's stupid. But since he denied to have any sort of guilt, I just want him to shut the fuck up.
But that doesn't make any sense. I mean, you've said that it was justified, meaning that Mordecai was innocent to begin with as to why Mordecai would get angry at Rigby. Also, again, Rigby is completely at fault about this, because not only is Mordecai trying to stop the fire from happening, but if anything, you could possibly have two complaints about why Mordecai would be at fault, and he would still be innocent because of some possible exceptions. If your complaint is how the grill is damaged by the water or the fall because of it, since it seems like a charcoal grill, it's only been in the water for a while, and it seems like the grill doesn't have any physical damage from the fall, it should be just fine. Once it dries up, it should start grilling again. If your complaint is how he could have done another safety precaution, then we'll get into that later.
I'll get the hot dog.
Okay, I have a couple points against this. First off, if it was a charcoal grill and it would basically just be back to normal, it not only puts none of them at fault, disagreeing with both of our points, actually considering if Common Jack, all three of our points, well, you do have a common partner, so all four of your points, but also it contradicts what your partner said earlier.
Well, yeah, he threw the grill in the river because the hot dogs were on fire. If he didn't stop the fire as soon as possible, it could have very well spread off the grill onto, say, the grass, for example. If anything, Rigby is completely at fault for this, and Mordecai is forced to stop it before anything could happen.
Now, most of you guys would be confused of why I played the clip. The reason why I played the clip is because his partner said that it would only be Rigby's fault. Also, the possible exceptions thing, where though? You never explain them at all. Also, how does that contradict your point of saying, of Common Jack saying, you know, where he said that Rigby was acting childish, so Mordecai has to act like it too? Yeah, you're not gonna complain about that? Also, even if you did, I would still come back at you saying like, well, yeah, but go and watch the entire episode, because you're gonna see why that means later.
In this newfangled age, you can get almost anything. You can get a Bible if you're a theologian, and if you're really horny, you can even get a Trojan.
Fine, I'll fix it.
You mean like when you fix the grill?
You threw it on the river, Mordecai, instead of, I don't know, using fire extinguishers.
Hey Dynamo, what time is it?
4:20?
Nope. It's later! So now we get into the other complaint on why you think Mordecai was at fault here. Well, here's two theoretical questions. 1. What if they don't know where the fire extinguisher is? They only could have been within the park for only that long that's to the point where they don't know where everything is exactly. Now you can argue that they could tell Benson or someone else within the park about this, but they could get into trouble or face some consequences later on, like losing their jobs for example. You can also argue that even if they do know as to where it is, maybe due to some lecture that they have to sit through, this brings us to
2. What if there isn't a fire extinguisher near where they're at, especially since we couldn't see one when looking at the episode? Like what I said, the fire could have spread from the grill into the grass, and it could have been too late to find an extinguisher and take it out since that does take time. So I can understand as to why Mordecai had to throw it into the river, because of his initial reaction. And even if they were to find a fire extinguisher with the fire somehow not spreading, the hot dog still would have been ruined from the fire, and possibly covered in CO2 from the extinguisher.
But
Those theoretical questions are shit! Now for Lemmy's one. What if they don't have a fire extinguisher? Bullshit. It is a safety requirement to have a fire extinguisher in an event in case if something goes down. Now for the other complaint, if they did have it, but... Okay, I'm not even going to say the question, I'm just going to go on and insult about it. If there wasn't a fire extinguisher near where they were. Again, my first complaint. It is supposed to be required to have one to host an event. And even then, when you're complaining that they just have it and they can't really use it because it's not on the screen, well, that doesn't make any sense too, because like, you can't put assets when they're not there. it's the simple part of animation. Not everything has to look like Steven Universe as beautiful.
All you do is mess things up and ruin people's lives.
Isn't that a bit too harsh?
Stop pretending like you do anything but get me in trouble. You can't fix anything. And now, I'm gonna die because of you.
No! Dude, don't be mad at me. Mordecai, don't die mad at me!
Too late. Ugh.
This needs 3 things. Editing, music, and some likability from Mordecai.
Okay, what's wrong with the editing? Honestly, it looks fine to me, so maybe you could touch on this a bit more? Second, I'm pretty sure the creatives were trying to make it a slightly realistic scenario, with Rigby scared that his friend would die mad at him, and Mordecai appearing to freeze to death. Music would just make it come off as melodramatic.
If you didn't feel...
Actually, there's 2 things about this. First off, the editing, it is average, but a scene to make this better would actually make it look better. Also, the music. What kind of normal person just gets stuck with the leak walker and with someone he calls his friend yet hates? Yeah, right. Totally normal scenario to me. Also, sometimes when someone puts no music, it comes off as awkward. If you keep saying that I have no proof, well, at this point, I actually do have proof.
Next time, I'll remember. And look great doing it.
Like a true fashionista.
Hey!
And if you're gonna say that this scenario isn't really realistic, well, it's actually about someone finding a gun, and all these people are kids. And this is actually way more realistic than just someone being stuck in a leak walker with someone he hates yet likes. So, do shut up. Also, post-editing me time. Well, remember when the scene where Mordecai just cross-eyes called Rigby that he'll never fix anything, and then tries to act dead? Emphasis on act. Well, this actually proves Common Jack's point of Mordecai being childish. Correct. So, do shut up even harder.
Just listen very carefully, because it's totally in French. La chocolate, the chips, et oui, et pour de dans la Chine, et mais le coin with blue le fou.
Oh, hey, you're awake! Mordecai! Mordecai! I told you I could fix it! While you were dead, I found these talking hot dogs, and they're gonna help us.
What?
Second, I'm pretty sure the creatives were trying to make it a slightly realistic scenario.
Just give me your money, cause my belly's full of candy. Look right through the display in the window, here's the glass.
Give me your quarter, I'll sip some candy.
Dude, they're not here yet. We still have time.
This show is weird.
Regular show. It's anything but. Meaning that it is a show that deals with surrealism. The normal viewer would have gotten that at the start with a talking gumball machine among the other weird designs in the show. Your statement of the show being weird wasn't needed to begin with, and if you were trying to be funny, then it fell flat on its face. Okay, what's wrong with the editing? Honestly, it looks fine to me, so maybe you could touch on this a bit more? Second, I'm pretty sure the creators were trying to make it a slightly realistic scenario, with Rigby scared that...
Oh my god, this is finally the end. If anyone's asking why I'm doing a white background, this part wasn't scripted at all. I thought it would take a lot longer, but the last 4 minutes was just skipping because they had one good point, and, well, I just be repeating myself, and I don't want to sound redundant anymore, so, yeah. I have no final thoughts, so let's end the video.